Howdy gang, Michelle here with a new pattern for December, and this one I absolutely love. You guys are going to love it. It works up super quick and it's really pretty, and even though it looks really thick and dense, it's not. It's got really nice stretch to it. And this is one of those patterns because I have a lot of people always ask, what hat can I make to match this scarf, or what scarf or cowl can I make to match this hat? This is one of those patterns that I've been trying to give you guys at least one of every month, where it's very versatile, where you can use it either as a shawl, as a wrap, as a hat, as a poncho, whatever you want to use it as, you can use this for. This is also great because it can be done either in the round or flat panel, as you can see that I'm doing here, and it works up really quick. So this one here I'm calling Ella. I don't know if you can hear in the background. I love listening to the oldies, the classics with Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Nina Simone, all of those, because it just gives you the richness and the soul of music, and it's absolutely beautiful and relaxing to work with, and I love it. So that's why I named it this. So for this one, I'm using the KB baby hat loom. You don't have to use this loom. I like using this one when I don't have to use a lot of pegs because it's small. This is a 3/8 gauge. This one here is 56, but you can, like I said, use any 3/8 gauge or any loom that you want. Just make sure that your loom matches the gauge that you're going to be working with. So if you're going to be using worsted weight, I suggest using a 3/8 or even a 1/2 inch. If you're going to be going chunky or bulky, you are going to want to do like a 5/8 or a 3/4. If you want to do a number 6, which is a super chunk, you will want to either a 3/4 or even a zippy. So you can do this on any gauge. I'm doing it on the 3/8 because I'm using this beautiful worsted weight yarn. This is Lion Brand Basic Stitch. It's anti-pilling, and I absolutely love it. This one here is called Critter Craze, and I was really surprised because when I found this in the store, I thought, ugh, Basic Stitch, it's going to be rough. It's going to be, I'm not going to like it. Well, I am wrong, because this is a buttery. I loved working with it. It just flows through my fingers, and it's really amazing that it works so smoothly and works up great. So we're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to kind of explain it to you because, again, this is one of those patterns that you look at and go, okay, it looks complicated. That must be Michelle's. But you guys know me. I got you, boo. And I'm going to explain everything and then show you as well. So as always, you have your abbreviations up here, you have your chart down here, you have your written instructions here. And it sounds complicated, but then once I show you, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so easy. This I'm going to explain up here in the written. I put if working flat. The chart is for working in the round, basically. So that way you have both of them. But they both work up the same. It's just different ways of, you know, getting to the store. You can take 2 different streets. You're still going to get to the same store. Same thing. Okay. So with row 1 and up here, I even put if working flat. Okay. Down here is the chart where if you're working in the round, you're okay. So row 1, you're going to yarn over, knit 3 together, yarn over, knit. That's why this works in multiple 4. So let me explain that to you down here in the chart. So peg 1 on row 1, peg 1 is going to move to 2, 3 is going to move to 2, and then 4 is going to be knit. And you're going to repeat that all the way across or all the way around, depending on if you're doing it flat panel or knit. Now, with flat panel, like I'm doing here, I'm going to knit all the way back to the starting peg, and I'm going to make sure to E-wrap my empty pegs. Let me explain this to you. So I am getting ready to start on row 1. And row 1, if you guys remember, is the move 1 to 2, 3 to 2, and then knit 4. And I'm going to do that all the way across. Now, as you can see, I love to mark my looms. I have E right here for my edge peg. And then I have 2 rows. You guys can see this top row is written in black and this bottom row is written in red. This tells me that on row 1 and row 3 because 3 is just the same thing as 1. These are the pegs I'm going to move. As you can see, peg 1, and then it says 3, and then I have to move this one. So this tells me I have to move this peg here, and I have to move this peg here. So I'll end up with 3 here, and then I'm going to knit, because this is empty. I'm going to just knit, true knit, okay? No E-wrap on this unless it's the empty pegs coming back, and I'll show you that. So you're just going to repeat that all the way around, or all the way to the end. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to knit this one. I'm going to knit my second one. Then I'm going to grab this one, move 1 to 2. I'm going to knit 3, and then also knit 4. I'm going to move 3 to 4. Okay, so now you can see right here, peg 1 I moved to 2, peg 3 or peg 4, no, peg 3 I moved to 2, and peg 4 I knit off. So right now 1 is empty, 3 is empty, and 2 has 3 strands on it. Okay, and then 4 I knitted off, so it matches. I moved this to 2, 3 to 2, 2 has 3 strands on it, and 4 is empty, or 4 is knitted. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to knit 1, 2, I'm going to move this one, and this makes it a whole lot easier to move when you do it this way also. And just repeat this all the way to the end. Now for this one, I did a total of 22, which is 5 sets of 4, and then 2 extra pegs for each edge peg. So it's 22 total. And when you mark your loom like this, it makes it a whole lot easier when you're working it. If you have to walk away, or a piece of paper's hair on there, when you have to walk away, or you know, you come back, you know exactly what you're doing. And just keep going all the way across. And you get such a flow going with this that it works up really quick. So this will make a great last minute gift. If you have to whip something up real quick for a family member or a coworker or a friend or whatever. All right, coming up on the end here. All right, now on my edge pegs, you guys always know, depending on the direction that you're going, I always purl from when I work clockwise, and then I knit going back. All right, so I just purled that, and then I came back and I true knitted it. Now, as you guys can see, on all the ones that have 3 up on the top row, there's 3 strands. Okay, this has a knit because that was blank. 3, 1 knit, 3, 1 knit, 3, so it goes all the way. Now here in the directions where I say, if working flat, which is what we're doing, you're going to knit back to the starting peg and be sure to E-wrap the empty pegs. Okay, so as you can see here on this first one, I do have a strand on there, so I'm just going to U-knit that. Now the one next to it is empty, and then I have these 3. So I'm going to just E-wrap this. You don't have to knit anything off. You're just going to E-wrap it. Then you're going to knit these 3 off, E-wrap, U-knit, E-wrap, knit 3. Okay, so E-wrap. Then I'm going to come over here to these and knit these 3 off. Now, if it's too tight to pick up all 3 at once, just do 1 strand at a time. Okay, it's better to do that than to break a peg or break your hook or, you know, whatever. Don't stress yourself out over it. And that's why I said this works up nice and quick. You will want to have like a row or a stitch counter, so that way if you leave off on a row coming back, you know where you are. But if you happen to forget, I'm going to show you how to figure out which one you just did. Let me get to the end here. Almost there. Whoops. All right, a couple more. All right, and there's my edge peg. So I knitted, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to purl it. So if you happen to walk away and you don't have a stitch counter, or something came up real quick that you forgot, the easiest way to tell what row you just did, if you have knitted everything off and you're back here, go on this side and you'll be able to tell which ones have 3 that you knitted off. Like I can tell that this one, because you could see the 3 strands. This one I could see the 3 strands. That way you can just go, okay, so this one had 3 strands. Oh, okay, I was on row 1. So now it's time for me to do row 3. Okay, so we just did 1 and 2. Now 3 up here is 2 on this chart. Okay, so 3, I'm going to knit, yarn over, knit 3 together, yarn over. Okay, and then down here, knit, yarn over. So I'm going to take 2 to 3 and then 4 to 3, and I'm going to have 3 strands on 3 this time. So let's take a look at my mark. So now I'm going to focus on the red part of my tape down here. So here on peg 2, which is, edge peg and then 1, 2, I have to move this to here and this to here, and then I'm going to knit this one. So we basically just shifted everything over 1 from the first one. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to knit, knit, knit. Then I'm going to go back to peg 2, which is technically peg 3, but I don't count my edge peg. I'm going to move that to 3. I'm going to knit 2 more, and then I'm going to move 4 to 3. And I'm just going to repeat that and follow your markings on your loom, so that way you know exactly what you're doing, what row you're on, and you work pretty quickly this way. When you mark your loom like this, it makes it so much easier. And the great thing with this is there's not much purling other than your edge pegs. So for those of you who are not a big fan of purling, you don't have to worry about that other than your clean edges. So that's not too shabby, I don't think. And like I said, you can see this is working out pretty quick, and I'm working at a normal pace here. So if I wasn't recording, I would probably work a little quicker, because right now I'm knitting on a flat table rather than on my lap, which is where I normally loom. I put it on my lap on my chair and relax. All right, so last part here. And then my edge peg. So in this direction, I always purl clockwise. It's easier. And then I just re-knit on a U-knit on that last one. Then you're going to come here and move this one over, so that way it's nice and tight. So now you can see, like I said, everything shifted. So we're working on the bottom row, the red. So this was a knit. I moved 2 to 3 and 4 to 3, and that gave me 3 strands. So that's empty, and that has 1. And you can see all the way across. That's exactly what I did. All right, and we're just going to repeat the same thing like we did going back to the starter peg. So this one's empty. This first one is empty. I'm just going to E-wrap it, and then I'm going to come around to this one and knit those 3 off. And I usually knit 2 pieces off and then grab the 3rd one because I don't want to stress out my loom or my arm. And then once we get back to the start, you're just going to repeat those 4 rows. And that's how simple this is. That's why I said it's one of those patterns that to look at, it looks complicated, but I make it so easy for you guys to do it. There we go. Whoops. There we go. And we're coming up on the end. Knit this last one and then my edge peg. So in this direction, I always knit first and then come back around and purl it, and then I can just go right back into row 1. And that is how simple it is. That's it. And I'm going to continue mine a little bit longer. And it doesn't take very long to do this. So this is maybe 2 days worth of work for me, and this is about 18 inches long. I can't even put the whole thing into the camera. So that's about 18 inches long. And that's about 2 days for me. And there you go. So I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who have stuck with me this year. I know it's been a very difficult year for all of us all around. 2020 is just one for the books, that's for sure. So if you've stuck with me, I cannot say thank you enough. So thank you all bunches. I love you to pieces. There's not enough words to say it. So thank you, gang. Happy holidays, however you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any of the others. Yule. I wish you all lots of love, lots of happiness, lots of health, and lots of wonderful blessings to come in 2021. I love you, gang. Happy looming.